You are listening to Chai with the CEO, a Random Genius Media original.
So, welcome, Laura Lamando, to Chai with the CEO. I don't know if you have chai out there in LA, but it's our favorite drink. Today
Uh-huh.
it's a little late at night, so I've substituted with some chilled water. But I hope you have your glass of chai handy. And seems like a nice day back in LA.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah. I actually did not make chai this morning. I apologize. I had
no
my
problem.
coffee already, but
Okay,
but I had a cup of chai yesterday. I love chai. And I should have made one for this call, so I apologize.
no problem,
Um,
no problem.
yeah.
Now, Laura, before we proceed, we have a small intro to you
Okay.
for some of the folks in India who might not know you. So
Okay.
I'm just going to quickly get that on and let me know if you can hear it.
Today, on Chai with the CEO, we've got a guest who proves that age is just a number, and a totally irrelevant one at that. Laura Ann Lamando is 64 years young, caffeinated by purpose, and armed with more sass than a TikTok teen. She's the founder of Fangirl Fashionista, a fashion revolution that says no, we don't want it smaller, pinker, or tighter. We just want it to fit and maybe have some pockets. Laura Ann's not just here to chase trends, she's here to challenge them. While most people her age are thinking about retirement, she's busy knocking on doors, sketching bold, new ideas, and building a brand that actually listens to women. She's been there, done that, and now she's designing the t-shirt. So put the kettle on, grab your comfiest outfit, and hopefully one with stretch. And get ready to meet the woman who's proving it's never too late to flip the script and look great doing it.
Amazing. Thank you.
So, Laura, I hope we did you justice. I hope we captured the nuances and
Yeah.
the fit was right for you.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay, past muster.
I don't know how I feel about a whole country knowing my age, but that's okay. It's all
Well,
good.
we guessed you wouldn't mind, but that's a perfect place to begin. What are
Mhm.
you doing, Laura, at this age? I mean, you should be relaxing, you should be chilling, but
Yeah.
you're out there rallying the troops. You've got a
Mhm.
revolution on hand. So tell us a little bit about what you're up to with Fangirl Fashionista.
Yeah. I know it's so funny to me that like I'm at this phase in my life and I have like more wisdom, more energy, more knowledge about my industry than I ever had when I was working in it full time, right? So age is just a number to me because I feel so equipped to with everything that I've learned and everything that I have in my brain to move this forward. And luckily for me, Fangirl Fashionista is like a passion that I have just discovered in the last 2 years about how strongly I feel about the sports and entertainment merchandise world and how it's just simply left women behind. And I'm guilty of that. Like I worked for big corporate sports and entertainment brands for years. And I had blinders on. I never even noticed it until I stepped away from it. I stepped away from it thinking, okay, it's time to, just do some part-time work, do something that's more relaxing. But then um, the United Nations actually launched a a new alliance called Equity 2030 Alliance, right? So 2 or 3 years ago, I was on LinkedIn and I saw that they were launching that and invited everybody to come on to the webinar. So I went on there and they started talking about Shrink It and Pink It, a woman that was working for Nike, who's a instructor at Harvard Business School, was talking about we have to do something about Shrink It and Pink It. And I thought, what the heck is that? right? So then I went down the rabbit hole, and that's kind of like, long story short, how Fangirl Fashionista came to light. Because the reason that the company is called that is because fangirl means any female that's a fan of
Yeah.
something, right? In sports and
Yes.
entertainment.
Yes.
Fashionista means they want to wear stuff that looks good, right? They want to be fashionable and trendy. And also, we were going to make stuff from the fashion process, meaning we're going to go back to the drawing board. We're going to get some female mannequins. We're going to buy fabric and we're going to cut it around a female body. So that's kind of the combination of like what we came up with for the brand. But yeah,
Excellent.
does that answer your question about like the birth
It
where it
it
started?
does. It does.
Yeah,
Definitely. I think there was, reading some of your posts, I got to know that there was an incident at the Dodgers game as well, which,
totally. Yeah,
kind of uh, gave you that fillip to say that I've got to do something about it, right? Do
yeah,
you want
yeah.
to tell us something about that as well?
Sure. Actually, it started a year before that at an Elton John concert, right?
Okay.
So that's why I say sports and entertainment. And then Dodgers, it was another incident, the same situation. But my friend and I went to an Elton John concert in Dodger Stadium when he was doing his final tour. We went to like his last show, right? Which was amazing. But we got there a couple of hours beforehand because, Dodger Stadium's kind of fun to hang out with and look around. And there were a ton of people there to talk to. So we went to walk around to our seats, and there was a huge merchandise line, right? So I was like, oh, they must have some really good stuff because there were just women in line, right? And we were like 6 or 7 or 8 rows back. And as soon as we started creeping up to the front, all I saw was black unisex tees and hoodies. And it just said, something about Elton John final tour and then the list of cities on the back. And I thought, oh, that is the ugliest collection of merchandise. And I thought, Elton John, right? Like the most flamboyant performer out there, one of the most. You would think at least we would get a hat with some bling or a
Yeah.
scarf with some feminine colors or something, an accessory, right? Nothing. And by the
No.
time we got to the front, the only thing left was an extra large. They sold out of all the small sizes because guess why? It was only women in line, and no women could wear unisex extra large, right? That, wants to be out in public with it. So then so after that, I was like, God, that's just not right. So then the Dodger game came like a season later. And same thing, I went shopping for a shirt just to support the team because I'm from New York. I didn't have any Dodgers merch, right? And all men's unisex and men's sizing. So I wound up buying nothing. And I'm not alone in that. Like the statistic is 60% of female fans don't buy merchandise because the styles are just not attractive to us, right?
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. So that's where the gap comes in, and that's where the revenue is lost. So yeah, so after that Dodgers game, I was like, that's it. I got to figure this out. I got to do something about it because it's everywhere.
So that was the epiphany for you to sort of want to do something about it. So
Yeah. And then I started talking to more women. I started looking more into shrink it and pink it, started talking to the licensing industry because that's where I came from. Right.
correct.
And people
Right.
that have been in the licensing industry in apparel for years were like, oh my God, Laura, that's a great idea. So I started getting validation. I started talking to female fans on the street, like seriously doing focus groups. Right. If I saw a woman in like a cute Dodgers t-shirt that fit her well, I went up to her, almost harassed her, and was like, oh my God, that looks so cute. Like, where did you get that? And she said, oh, it's my son's. It's a boy's large. Right. So then, like, it became apparent that women were like altering, or coming up with other solutions to try to make something look good on them. So that was the other piece of it that really started driving this forward.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were improvising on men's attire to sort of get it to suit them.
Totally. And some women, like that woman was wearing her son's t-shirt, but some women are like cutting open the seams if they're creative in sewing, right? I mean, we shouldn't have to do this, Sheldon, like
Correct.
cutting open the seams, putting it together and resewing it or taping it or doing whatever they can to make it fit around their waist. It's crazy, right? So yeah, so it's not fashion, that's improvisation, right? So
Correct.
that's been the problem in the sports merch world, and that's where we're stepping in to help.
So you've worked with big companies. You worked on FIFA, the Olympics, and
Hmm.
with big brands. Why do you think brands are overlooking this visibly huge demo, right? That's there for the taking.
Yeah.
Why is that?
That's a really good question that I've been asked before, and I think there's two reasons. Number one is that women are just putting up with, or have put up with it, and are still buying because they want something, right? And number two is these brands are still making money. They're still seeing the sales come in because so they're not really seeing a slowdown in their sales. And while big brands make company, they're not money, they're not going to question anything, right?
Correct.
Like when women 100% stop buying and they see that big $1 billion gap, then they're going to go, well, what's wrong? Right? So I think it's a combination of both. Also, starting this business and learning about the fashion process, it's a really long, tedious process. And sports is quick turn, right? So I think
Yes.
there's a lot of companies and brands out there that can't wait 8 to 10 months for a collection or a reorder to come in the market because that's a big sales gap for them. So that's the other reason. There are fashion manufacturers who can go 3 to 4 months, but most of them that's a short timeline. Most long timelines are like 6 to 8 months. So for orders for sports, sports has seasons, right? So
Yeah.
you can't wait that long. Um, but yeah, I think that combination is a couple of reasons why.
Got it. So since you've launched, you've got a couple of leagues under your belt, right? You want to tell us about
Yes.
something about that?
Yeah. So I was connected to the National Women's Soccer League Players Association, and that's different than the National Women's Soccer League, right? Because the league gives you rights to the teams and the team colors and the
Correct.
likenesses of the teams. The Players Association gives us rights to all the players in the league, the name, image, and likeness to all the
Name,
players.
image, and likeness. Yes.
So we got that contract, meaning we could take the athletes, any athlete out of the 240, I think, athletes in the league, and use their name and number, like you see on a jersey, on any of our product and their likeness, right? Um, so that was we launched, and like 4 or 5 months later, we got that contract. Because of my licensing connections, I was introduced into that group, which was great.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was one, and then not far long after that, about 2 or 3 months ago, um, I was at the Sports Licensing Summit in New York and met the group from Winners Alliance, and they handle all the group licenses for tennis, for cricket, for a few other court sports. And so that's the second license we got is with Winners Alliance and the Professional Tennis Players Association. So that's men and women, female
Oh,
and male tennis players that we have the name, image, and likeness rights to on our product. Those athletes are still TBD. So, we're still working out those details because I guess the group license, the athletes come in at different times. So that
yeah.
total list
Yeah.
isn't finalized for us yet. But yeah, I'm excited about that. And the manufacturer that we're going to use in LA is going to allow us to do unique collections for each sport. Because if you can imagine, Sheldon, female soccer fans are a little bit different of a customer base than a female tennis fan, right? If you think about those two sports and the visuals of that. Yeah. So I'm excited that I can do exclusive collections for the two sports because I think the female fans are different in those worlds. Yeah.
Interesting. I come to think of it, I was, in the run up to this interview, I was kind of looking around and doing a little research, and there would be definitely a case to be made for Indian cricket as well, because now we have the women's
Oh,
team.
yes.
And I
Yes.
do, and it's the same problem that kind of plagues that space, that there isn't merchandise made for ladies who are
Right.
cricket fans, and that number is
Right.
growing, right? Of
Yes.
course, it's not as huge as in the US, but it's definitely they're carving out a niche for themselves. But
Yes.
fashion isn't keeping trend, keeping up pace with it. Do you think
Right.
there's a larger problem Or do you think this is symptomatic of a larger issue with not enough women being in the boardroom? Do you
Oh,
think it has something to do with that? That
well, I mean, you also, you know, the licensing world, and it's very contract driven, right?
yes, yes,
So I think what happens is these big players who can write the big guarantee checks are signing 2, 3, 4 year contracts. And then they're coming back around and signing another 2, 3, 4 year contracts. And it's just on autopilot. That's what I think it is. So, you know, it's the brand that's saying, yes, let's sign on the dotted line. And then it's the licensees that are coming in with the same stuff saying, here's your $1 million guarantee, you know, we want to work with you, right? And
right.
again, going back to that same question of why is this such a big gap? Those licensees are making money off what they're selling, so they're not really changing anything. But getting back to cricket, that's now, I believe, the fastest growing sport in the world. So
Yes.
it's changing. And I teach at UCLA part-time, and there's 2 or 3 students from Mumbai, where you're from, right?
Oh, wow.
Who,
Okay.
yeah, who talk about, they're exchange students, and they talk about cricket all the time. And they say the sport is changing. It's becoming more like American basketball. Like there's entertainment. It's not as long. You don't have to sit and watch for hours and hours and hours and days on
Correct.
end, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So
Correct.
there's more fans coming into the sport because they're changing the format of how the sport is played, right?
Right.
So yeah, I need to take a look and do some deep diving on cricket because I think that's a big opportunity for us, you know?
And I think they recently launched a league in the US as well, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I gotta look into that.
it is, I mean, it was always global, but because of the Indian diaspora, that's all over the globe. But women's cricket is definitely underserved for sure.
Wow. Yeah,
Definitely worth looking
it
into.
is it it's an all around warm weather sport, right? It's played in warm climates outside. Is that correct? Yeah.
Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So that would be similar to what we maybe would develop for tennis, like a warm weather, lighter material kind of collection, right? For fans.
Which is a great segue into, what is the, fangirl fashionista fit? What would you define
Yeah,
your,
good question.
your line of clothing to be?
Yeah. So I have 2 fashion designers who are based in the US, in the southeast part of the US, who graduated from the Academy of Art Fashion School, right? So
Okay.
they're schooled in, like, you start clothing by drawing a sketch of what you want, right? So it's looking at that, the process, starting the process from scratch. We have a target audience of like 18 to 35, and then a secondary audience is older. My designers are in their 20s, so they look at the young trends, right? We do mood boards around what girls are wearing and what's coming on the runway, and then we come up with our collection. But the fit, I would say, is like fashion, right? Like if you think about your wife or women in your life who buy fashion brands, like Fangirl Fashionista is made the same exact way. So it's fit for women. It's not a wholesale blank that is shrunk or made smaller in some way, right? So I don't really know how else to describe it other than, like, if you go to Neiman Marcus or you go to a big department store and you go to a fashion brand section, our clothing is going to be made the same exact way as those brands. It's not going to be
It's cool,
couture. It's not going to be on the
contemporary.
runway.
Yeah, it's cool, it's contemporary, it's comfortable. I
Yeah,
guess a
it's
few.
comfortable, and yeah, and it's made for, like, if you go to a sport event and you're sitting there for 2 to 3 hours, you know, we're not going to have like skinny jeans so you can't
Yeah.
sit for more than 5 minutes, right? We're going to have a combination, that's a good point, of like fashion and comfort and trend and contemporary. So I'll give you an example, Sheldon. Like, we created these cargo pants, right? And in the intro, you guys mentioned pockets, which is another huge pain point for women. Okay. Like, there's no pockets in our clothing that, you know, other than sweatpants, which we don't want to wear out to dinner. Right. So functional, right? The cargo pants are functional because They have an elastic waistband with a drawstring, and they have 6 huge pockets, 2 in the front that are deep. Usually pockets for women, you can only like go up to here. Like you could fit your 2 fingers, right? These pockets go up to here. Like you could fit your whole hand in, like a pair of man's pants, right? 2 more pockets on the side that are cargo pants, and then 2 more deep pockets in the back. So when you go to a game, you're not only going to be comfortable, but you're going to be fashionable. You're going to be wearing a material that is like trendy and, looks and feels good. And you're going to have enough pockets to not have to bring a purse to the game. So yeah, so it's a combination of that. And then another example is like a fleece, right? That goes off the shoulder. But what we did is we added straps because no female wants to sit at a game and like do this the whole time because their fleece is falling down, right? So we're thinking about the comfort and the functionality, and we're bringing fashion into that as well.
Very nice. Very nice. Thinking of all the possible problems that women could face and solving for it.
Totally. And I'm trying to like always put myself in that situation because I mean, I'm probably like I'm such a sports fan and I have been to so many games and been so uncomfortable in so many situations. So I'm trying to like put myself in that position and go like, "Oh yeah, I hated the fact that I went to that game a couple of years ago and my purse got confiscated." You're like, "That's not right because it was 1 inch too big or whatever it was," right? Like that's what we go through when we go to
Correct.
sports events. Yeah. So I'm trying to problem solve from the situation that I've been in myself and from the women that I know have been in. So it's real life problem solving, right?
Sounds interesting. So
Yeah.
what do you say to people who might say that you started too late in life?
I say, well, sit back and watch me. That's what I say, right?
And
I mean,
and what
I have
sorry.
like college roommates that I'm still in touch with that are retiring, and they're like, "Laura, you're 64 years old." I'm like, "Yeah, I know how old I am," right? But I don't know. I don't listen to that. Honestly. I just, I laugh it off and I move on and do my thing. I mean, I'm going to keep going until I can't go anymore, Sheldon. That's kind of my lane. Um, I don't feel like I look or act my age, so that's another, I guess, bonus for me, right? Is I
Correct.
still have youth energy and I
Yes.
have,
Yes.
I work long hours and I mean, I'm more energized now than I was when I was 40. So, I mean, it's just something that I can keep doing, and other people's rhetoric doesn't really bother me because it's not
So
who I am.
what's the secret to the Laura fountain of youth? What's the secret?
Um, I don't know. I've always just had high energy, so I'm taking advantage of that. That continues in my older age. Um, my health and my sleep is very important, so I get a solid night's sleep every night. And I actually started doing CrossFit. I've always been an athlete, right? I competed in like college sports, so physical fitness and strength has always been important to me. Um, but you can't like compete in sports past the age of 30. So you have to figure something else out, right? Um, so um, I started CrossFit pretty late in life, and I still, at 64 years old, I think I'm one of the oldest women in the gym, but it's great. Um, I do that 3 to 4 days a week,
Wow.
and I eat well and I sleep well. I mean, that's kind of my magic sauce. I know it's simple, but if you pay attention to that and you really take care of yourself, you'll have the energy to sustain.
Lovely.
And I know like I raised a gaggle of stepkids, so I can't say that I would be able to do this if I was still parenting, right? So I understand from the parent perspective that it's not that simple. I get that. Um, but it's just a matter of paying attention to your priorities, right? And then fitting in what you can with the energy that you have. So carving out time is really important. You just can't wake up and be willy-nilly with your schedule. You got to really like dedicate time to certain priorities in your life. So
Correct.
yeah, I don't want to sit here and go, "Oh, when I was a parent, I could have also run a business." I don't think I could have. That's a really difficult thing to do, especially for women, right? So
Exactly. Makes
yeah,
sense.
yeah.
So go. what's next? What's next for Laura? Is it fangirl fashionista all the way? What are some of the plans on the anvil?
That's a great question. So Fangirl Fashionista was envisioned for sports merch and entertainment and concert and festival merch, because that's where the fangirls live, right?
Yeah, yeah.
But there's also a lot of pain points around the globe in bigger industries where pink it and shrink it exists, believe it or not. Like, and this is what the United Nations work is, right? Like in pharma, in healthcare, in first responder uniforms, in medicine, in medical tools. Female brain surgeons operate on your brain with male-sized tools. How scary is that? You know?
True,
So there's a
true.
lot of work in the world of like other industries, and we won't be going into those industries with Fangirl. We'll be going into it with something else, right? But I want to take Fangirl, or whatever the company is called, into those industries as an advocate, you know, to help like change the designs that are not working for women. Scrubs for nurses and for doctors. They go into operating rooms and they have to have the nurses pull up their pants because they're too big, right? So crash test dummies, there's no crash test dummies for females. They're all shrink it and pink it. So there's a lot of work to be done. The reason I became a member of the Equity 2030 Alliance with the United Nations is to be a voice and to get involved in that work. And I'm connecting with women who are redesigning construction vests and first responder uniforms, like firefighters. I'm like trying to help, right? Support them in whatever way they can. I'm not equipped to like redesign a female firefighter uniform, but there are companies out there that are. So, and then my big 7-year plan is to have a Fangirl Fashionista, or whatever it's called, store, right? Where women can go to buy products from soup to nuts. They're all made specifically for the female body. So that's kind of like the goal.
Lovely, lovely.
Yeah.
So what would be your message to, the fangirls out there who want to join you in this mission? What would, what would your elevator pitch be to them? Uh,
So yeah, great question. So I would say that for every female sports fan out there who has ever had to adjust or innovate, or, you know, has been frustrated by the fact that they can't find anything that fits them in the sports merchandise world, starting with sports, right? That we're coming into market. We're coming into market. We're bringing fashion into the female sports fan and the female entertainment fan world. And our collections are going to be small, but they're also going to be made just for you. So you don't have to wear a men's jersey anymore, and you don't have to wear a t-shirt that you have to knot at the waist because it's too big and you want to look cute when you go out, right? So, you know, we're starting there. We're starting with sports. We're going into concert and festival merch, and I would say just watch for us and join us, and, you know, help us. If you see us on Instagram, follow us and help us spread the word, because our collections are in design development right now, and we're going to be in market as of spring of 26. So
Excellent. So we'll flash your contact information so that people can
that'd be
get in
great.
touch with you. And thank you
Yeah.
so much for talking to us, Laura.
Yeah,
Great
you're
to see
welcome,
you. Thanks
Sheldon.
for reaching out. And we
Yeah.
must thank Maura Reagan for being the
Yes.
producer.
Yes.
You
Thank
know,
you, Maura. She's always so great in connecting everybody, right?
yes,
Yeah.
Maura connects the world
Yeah.
so much. We
Yeah.
have a small surprise, but you won't get to know of it only till you watch the episode, once you watch the final
Ooh,
edit.
I
And
love surprises.
yeah,
Yeah.
so it's a
Yeah.
small surprise for you. So
Yeah.
anyway, take care. Have a nice day ahead.
Thank you.
And
Thank you.
do stay in touch, and wish fashionista, fangirl fashionista, all the best with all
Thank
that
you.
you're doing.
Yeah, we're coming. We're coming.
We're
See you
coming.
soon.
All the
Thank you,
best.
Sheldon. Yeah, I
Thank you
know
so
it's like
much.
late there by you, so thank you so much. And
Namaste. Thank you very much.
get a nice night's sleep, okay?
I will. I will. Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Hey! let's go! She's got fire in her step and stars in her sight, marching forward with purpose day and night. Laura's leading the way, make no mistake, shaking the system till it finally breaks.
No